Hello dear friend, and welcome to On This Day SMR with me, Edward Hertz, where we take a look back through history at events which took place on this day. As you can hear, the rain is gently pittering and pattering away on the window, and the fire is crackling away nicely in the hearth. So, put your headphones on, sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey back through time. So today is Tuesday the 9th of January 2024, and we have 54 historical events to cover, going all the way back to the year 681. Starting with the most recent, which happened 3 years ago in 2021. Sriwijaya Air Flight 182 crashes north of Jakarta, Indonesia, killing all 62 people on board. 9 years ago in 2015, the perpetrators of the Charlie Hebdo shooting in Paris 2 days earlier are both killed after a hostage situation. The second hostage situation related to the Charlie Hebdo shooting occurs at a Jewish market in Vincennes. In the same year, a mass poisoning at a funeral in Mozambique involving beer that was contaminated with Burkholderia gladioli leaves 75 dead and over 230 people ill. 10 years ago in 2014, an explosion at a Mitsubishi Materials chemical plant in Yukaishi, Japan, kills at least 5 people and injures 17 others. 13 years ago in 2011, Iran Air Flight 277 crashes near Urmia in the northwest of the country in icy conditions, killing 77 people. 17 years ago in 2007, Apple CEO Steve Jobs introduces the original iPhone at a Macworld keynote event in San Francisco. 19 years ago in 2005, Mahmoud Abbas wins the election to succeed Yasser Arafat as the president of the Palestinian National Authority, replacing interim president Rawi Fatou. In the same year, the Sudan People's Liberation Movement and the government of Sudan signed the Comprehensive Peace Agreement to end the Second Sudanese Civil War. 20 years ago in 2004, an inflatable boat carrying illegal Albanian emigrants stalls near the Karaburun Peninsula en route to Brindisi, Italy. Exposure to the elements kills 28. This is the second deadliest marine disaster in Albanian history. 21 years ago in 2003, TAM's Peru Flight 222 crashes on approach to Chachapoyas Airport in Chachapoyas, Peru, killing 46 people. 27 years ago in 1997, Comair Flight 3272 crashes in Raisonville Township in Monroe County, Michigan, killing 29 people. 28 years ago in 1996, in the First Chechen War, Chechen separatists launch a raid against a helicopter airfield and later a civilian hospital in the city of Kislyar in the neighbouring Dagestan, which turns into a massive hostage crisis involving thousands of civilians. 32 years ago in 1992, the Assembly of the Serb people in Bosnia and Herzegovina proclaims the creation of Republika Srpska, a new state within Yugoslavia. In the same year, the first discoveries of extrasolar planets are announced by astronomers Alexander Wolszczan and Dale Frail. they discovered 2 planets orbiting the pulsar PSR 1257 plus 12. 33 years ago, in 1991, representatives from the United States and Iraq meet at the Geneva Peace Conference to try to find a peaceful resolution to the Iraq invasion of Kuwait. 60 years ago, in 1964, on Martyrs' Day, several Panamanian youths tried to raise the Panamanian flag in the US-controlled Panama Canal Zone, leading to fighting between US military and Panamanian civilians. 62 years ago, in 1962, on the Apollo program, NASA announces plans to build the C-5 rocket launch vehicle, then known as the Advanced Saturn, to carry human beings to the moon. 63 years ago, in 1961, British authorities announced they have uncovered the Soviet Portland spy ring in London. 64 years ago, in 1960, President of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, opens construction on the Aswan Dam by detonating 10 tons of dynamite to demolish 20 tons of granite on the east bank of the Nile. 65 years ago, in 1959, the Vega de Terra Dam fails, triggering a disastrous flood that nearly destroys the town of Ribadelago and kills 144 residents. 67 years ago, in 1957, British Prime Minister Sir Anthony Eden resigns from office following his failure to retake the Suez Canal from Egyptian sovereignty. 79 years ago, in 1945, in World War II, the 6th United States Army begins the invasion of Lingayen Gulf. 83 years ago, in 1941, also in World War II, the first flight of the Avro Lancaster. 97 years ago, in 1927, a fire at the Laurier Palace movie theatre in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, kills 78 children. 101 years ago, in 1923, Juan de la Cierva makes the first autogyro flight. In the same year, Lithuanian residents of the Memel territory rebel against the League of Nations' decision to leave the area as a mandated region under French control. 103 years ago, in 1921, in the Greco-Turkish War, the first Battle of Inonu, the first battle of the war, begins near Eskişehir in Anatolia. 104 years ago, in 1920, in the Ukrainian War of Independence, the All-Ukrainian Central Executive Committee outlaws the Makhnovishchina by decree, igniting the Bolshevik-Makhanovist conflict. 106 years ago, in 1918, Battle of Bear Valley, the last battle of the American-Indian Wars. 107 years ago, in 1917, in World War I, the Battle of Rafah is fought near the Egyptian border with Palestine. 108 years ago, in 1916, also in World War I, the Battle of Gallipoli concludes with an Ottoman Empire victory when the last Allied forces are evacuated from the peninsula. 110 years ago, in 1914, the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity is founded by African American students at Howard University in Washington, D.C., United States. 115 years ago, in 1909, Ernest Shackleton, leading the Nimrod expedition to the South Pole, plants the British flag 97 nautical miles from the South Pole, the farthest anyone had ever reached at that time. 121 years ago, in 1903, Hallam Tennyson, 2nd Baron Tennyson, son of the poet Alfred Tennyson, becomes the 2nd Governor-General of Australia. 146 years ago, in 1878, Umberto I becomes King of Italy. 163 years ago, in 1861, in the American Civil War, Star of the West incident occurs near Charleston, South Carolina. In the same year, the Mississippi becomes the second state to secede from the Union before the outbreak of the American Civil War. 167 years ago, in 1857, the 7.9 magnitude Fort Tejon earthquake shakes central and southern California with a maximum Mercalli intensity of 9 violent. 185 years ago, in 1839, the French Academy of Sciences announces the daguerreotype photography process. 202 years ago, in 1822, the Portuguese Prince Pedro I of Brazil decides to stay in Brazil against the orders of the Portuguese King João VI, beginning the Brazilian independence process. 208 years ago, in 1816, Humphrey Davy tests his safety lamp for miners at Hebburn Colliery. 218 years ago, in 1806, Admiral Horatio Lord Nelson receives a state funeral and is interred in St. Paul's Cathedral. 225 years ago, in 1799, British Prime Minister William Pitt the Younger introduces an income tax of 2 shillings to the pound to raise funds for Great Britain's war effort in the Napoleonic Wars. 231 years ago, in 1793, Jean-Pierre Blanchard becomes the first person to fly in a balloon in the United States. 232 years ago, in 1792, the Treaty of Jassy between Russian and Ottoman Empire is signed, ending the Russo-Turkish War of 1787 to 92. 236 years ago, in 1788, Connecticut becomes the 5th state to ratify the United States Constitution. 237 years ago, in 1787, the nationally known image of the Black Nazarene in the Philippines was transferred from what is now Rizal Park to its present shrine in the minor basilica of Quiapo Church. This is annually commemorated for its Traslacoin, solemn transfer in the streets of Manila, and is attended by millions of devotees. 264 years ago, in 1760, Ahmad Shah Durrani defeats the Marathas in the Battle of Barari Ghat. 331 years ago, in 1693, in the 1693 Sicily earthquake. The first of 2 earthquakes destroyed parts of Sicily and Malta. After the second quake on the 11th of January, the death toll is estimated at between 60,000 and 100,000 people. 593 years ago, in 1431, the trial of Joan of Arc begins in ruin. 675 years ago, in 1349, the Jewish population of Basel, believed by the residents to be the cause of the ongoing Black Death, is rounded up and incinerated. 897 years ago, in the year 1127, in the Jin Song Wars, invading Jurchen soldiers from the Jin dynasty besiege and sack Bianjing, Kaifeng, the capital of the Song dynasty of China, and abduct Emperor Qinzong of Song and others, ending the Northern Song dynasty. And 1,343 years ago, in the year 681, the 12th Council of Toledo, King Erwig of the Visigoths initiates a council in which he implements diverse measures against the Jews in Spain. Okay, so that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you found our little trip back through history both relaxing and informative. If you liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment below. Please also consider subscribing to the channel. It will really help the channel to grow and will also ensure that you are notified of all of my future videos. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.